All right, Justin, let's talk about Julian Love. Love. Julian Love, 5'11", 195 pounds, 22 years old. Let's pick out of Notre Dame last season in the fourth round with the 108th overall pick. He was a cornerback. And Justin, he played safety last year. And inside sources, he's only playing safety in practice so far this season. So I had big expectations for him to be a cornerback in 2020. That's not happening. He is a safety for the New York Giants. But what do you got on the cat?
I think that's one of the shockers that's coming out of Giants camp so far to start, that he has only lined up at safety and Darnay Holmes has kind of taken that slot corner job. But Julian Love from Illinois, which I looked at that first and I was like, who's from Illinois? But I guess, Notre Dame is in Illinois. He had a major. He was a business major. I'm going to have three very somewhat boring facts. Major in management consulting. He drives an Aston Martin, a white Aston Martin, which is a bold move in the East Coast to have a white car. And he is engaged to a beautiful woman named Julia.
Julia Love.
What a name.
Great for last name. And he's changing to number 20 this season. So how about that? Let's talk about him. I really expect him to be a corner, especially with the news with DeAndre Baker, the addition of Xavier McKinney. It just made sense because he was the second best corner in the nation coming out of the draft, only to DeAndre Baker. Obviously, there's prospects ahead of him, but I believed in it. He was like the leading pass deflector in college at Notre Dame. He played guys tough. I thought he could play outside, but I thought he'd have a better role in slot and could be a really good slot corner because he has that versatility to back out, play safety, move him around, play him up in the run. I really thought he was going to find his role at nickel, and the Giants are only playing to play him a safety, and it's kind of like it's a head scratcher, and I guess it just comes down to they don't think he's a corner. I guess where we spent all offseason thinking he's going to play corner. The New York Giants, two regimes, Pat Shurmur's regime and now Joe Judge, just flat out thinks this guy is not a corner.
Yeah, I've always said that regardless of what you think about the Shurmur coaching staff, they're not flat out idiots. they're hired.
They were
to
idiots
do,
with the Julian Love stuff, though.
They were, but also if you're coming into a situation with, especially if you're coming into if a player's coming into the league and you're thinking that he's one thing, Bobby, I don't really think it was more of a radical concept that Julian Love was going to be a safety last year rather than him being a slot corner. I think he was drafted and the natural presumption that he was going to be a slot corner. And what did he do in training camp? He struggled. He struggled in the preseason. He struggled in training camp. I saw it with my own eyes. And we had Peppers and we had Bethea at free safety and a veteran presence of Bethea, no matter how bad that he was. So it wasn't really when Love was drafted, this guy is going to be a transition to safety. Frankly, you were the one that had last summer. I don't like how he's being cross-trained between two positions. So frankly, this summer, does that not make you feel good that he's not being cross-trained again to play two different positions? Or does that not matter since it's his second year?
I wanted him to not be cross-trained, but also play corner.
Right.
I agree. Like last year, I was like,
struggled,
hey, they had this guy playing between corner and safety, and it's like he's a rookie and he's not getting any he's not even getting comfortable at a position. And they should have played him at safety. They should have benched Bethea for him a lot earlier, or at least given him some reps. And then you put him in the Chicago game, he gets an interception, and you could say, well, it was a duck. But it's like, you know what? Does Bethea get over for that? I don't know. And then he, when Peppers goes down, he filled that role really well. I mean, Justin, in 5 starts, he had 37 tackles, 30 of which were solo, 5 tackles for a loss, and an interception. At a 16-game rate, that's 109 tackles and 16 tackles for a loss. He had a tackle for loss every single game.
Yeah,
that he
to put
started.
This in perspective, Jabril Peppers had 9 tackles for loss, and the limit, Julian Love comes onto the scene and he has 5 tackles for loss. So to put that in perspective, that's really good.
Yeah, he played that role really well. So but I thought he was going to play corner. They did play him one game at corner against the Eagles. Week 17, they played him at nickel, and he did pretty good in that game. And they did some interesting stuff where they would send him deep and then send a safety shallow. I mean, there's definitely interesting things you can do. But now it looks like we are going to be, I'm a big fan of 3 safety stuff, but you can't run 3 safety every single down. You know what I'm saying? So now on a team that is weak at secondary is going to have a good secondary player on the bench for, 50 to 60% of the snaps probably.
I was wrong, by the way. Jabril Peppers had 5 tackles for loss. So they had the same amount of tackles for loss in 2019.
I like it.
I was wrong. Bobby, I mean, here's really my thing right now, and my main question about this Giants defense, and we'll see it next weekend, by the way, because we're going to see the Giants scrimmage with each other on NBC, that's awesome how they're doing that, and they're going to be able to have the fans see what they're actually doing and how they're practicing and how they're hitting each other and what Graham is running, what Garrett's running, etc. I'm just very curious as to how they're going to work all these 3 safeties, because somebody is going to have to cover half of a football field, right? Whether that be a single high safety, whether Patrick Graham decides to do some 2 high stuff, somebody's going to have to cover half of a football field, or be single high and cover and be expected to cover the entire part. I don't know if that's in Love's strong suits. I don't know if that's in Pepper's strong suits. And right now, that's not in McKinney's strong suits. So, I mean, I guess right now we'll break it down with Julian Love. Does he? I think we can be confident that he can maybe cover half of the field, but that full transition to possibly being a free safety and not just an in-the-box strong safety, that is the thing that makes me most worried about Julian Love in 2020.
Well, I was excited to see him play free safety, and they finally gave him some reps at Chicago game, and then Peppers goes down. They, switch him over to that strong box safety, and we never got to see him in that role. But I like what he showed in the pass game. When they did have him deep, I thought he played well. I thought he played aggressive, something that Bethea didn't do, where Bethea was just caught sitting and waiting and would only get to the sideline one time. So I did like that. So I'm cool with him at that free safety role, and it looks like that's where he's starting right now, and he is starting over McKinney at this time. Obviously a lot can change going into the season, but it's not that I don't think he can be a good safety. I think he can be an awesome safety, but it's like, okay, we have 3 players at the safety spot, and I get there's more safeties on the field now, but that doesn't mean you're running. They're all starting. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody's on the bench for at minimum 40% of the snaps.
Yeah, and the thing is that we have 3 safeties that have, in a way, very similar skill sets. You can argue that Love is the most versatile out of all of them. Peppers is probably the best athlete out of all of them. And you're hoping McKinney has that high ceiling, but they all kind of can do the same thing. And who is going to be that guy that their main strength is in coverage? And Bobby, the thing that the Giants defense needs to most improve on is, and this is according to Sharp Football Stats, the Giants ranked 29th in explosive pass plays. The way that Sharp Football Stats defines explosive pass plays is allowing pass plays of 10-plus yards down the field. They allowed 67 explosive passes, which is 10-plus yards down the field, which totaled 592 yards. They had an average explosive play rate of 11%, again, which was 29th in the National Football League. That's not good. That is the single area where we need to improve most, where I feel a lot of the times we would do a solid job of maybe getting teams into 3rd and long. I even think back to that Packers game. A lot of 3rd and longs that game, but Aaron Rodgers in that offense, 3rd and longs, when they throw the ball 10-plus yards down the field, even 30-plus yards down the field, Giants were bad in too. We just got shredded last year, and it was largely because of lackluster safety and linebacker play, but for this case, lackluster safety play from Antoine Bethea.
Yeah, and so that'll be nice, though, this year, where it's like you don't have a Bethea who you're just like, why is this guy on the field? You're frustrated with it, where no matter how they use these guys, you're gonna be happy that they're on the field, Like, you're never going to be just like, why is Julian Love on the field? Why is Xavier McKinney on the field? Actually, if Xavier McKinney isn't playing much and Julian Love makes a mistake, people will say, why is Julian Love on the field? But we'll see. One of the things that having him, though, as a safety is nice is you can run 3 safeties on 3rd down, and you can play man coverage. You can trust all these guys in man coverage. Peppers isn't like amazing in man on tight ends, but he did a decent job in 2019. McKinney, we've seen him guard Justin Jefferson from LSU in the slot. Love, we've seen him play man corner. So you got guys you can trust in that. You got Love, who plays extremely aggressive, and that's what I look for on defense. It's guys who play aggressive. I would rather you make a mistake and make it at 110 miles an hour than maybe not screw up, but also let someone go underneath you and you're sitting there in a zone and you're not attacking anybody. So, and I think that is the nice thing that we've seen out of Peppers and Julian Love. We didn't see out of Bethea, and hopefully McKinney like steps into that as well.
Yeah, every media outlet, and usually we talk about the national media on the show, and it's in regards to something bad, where we're crapping on the national media for saying bad stuff about the Giants. But really, every media outlet is saying that Julian Love is in their top whatever breakout players for 2020, which is awesome. That's what you want. So clearly, everyone else has seen something from Julian Love, and we've seen it at Giants fans from the brief stint that he had last year. Bobby, I'm not surprised if Julian Love is a strong safety 10 yards back from the line of scrimmage on a first, second, or third down, and he's on the strong side of the field. I'm not surprised if he's a free safety and he's covering single high. I'm not surprised if on a third down he's lining up next to Blake Martinez and he's he's feeling like a money back role. He's in the box safety. I'm not surprised if he does any of those things, but also I'm pretty confident that he can do a solid job in any one of those roles, but I'm most concerned about, who's going to be covering that deep half of the field. That is my biggest concern. But also, it's not a glaring concern where I'm like, I don't think any of these guys can do that they're going to do a bad job.
It's not that much of a concern for me, honestly. Bethea was horrible at it. I think Love, now I'm not saying we have the best rangy center fielder in the NFL. I don't think that, even though I don't think we're going to play that type of defense like we did last season. But I have faith in Peppers to get sideline to sideline. I have faith in Love to get sideline to sideline, and I have hype for McKinney to be able to fill that role at times. So I don't think any of those three guys are if their assignment is center field, you're just screwed. Right. I don't think any of those guys worry me for that. And the biggest thing is that they just play aggressive, and they have good speed, not blazing amazing speed, but good speed. All right, anything else on him?
No. Hope all I'm right. Loving. I don't want to finish that. No, it was terrible.
Yeah, don't finish it. How about I just finish the episode? Mm-hmm. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow with a regular episode. A little scrimmage recap. Have a little fun with that. We appreciate you guys. We're getting into another week of Giants training camp. I love it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, let's go Big Blue.